How do you know when you've made it? Is that something someone tells us, or can we declare it ourselves? I mean, we grew up surrounded by metrics, right? Grades, promotions, followers, salary figures. From an early age, we're trained to wait for the world to tell us or hand us a gold star that says, you did it. And I think that conditioning sticks with us. It's subtle, but it's definitely in us. We start to believe that progress has to be validated to even count. So we spend much of our lives chasing numbers, thinking of ways to make more money, start a side hustle, find a shortcut, a bigger account balance, a higher income, a nicer house. The list never ends. And this is not finger pointing. This is 100% me. I am guilty of this, and it's really hard to be aware of it. And when we finally get there, wherever there is, it rarely feels like enough because the goalposts quietly move again. Part of the problem, I think, is that the world rewards what it can measure. Titles, revenue, square footage, those are easy to show off. But things like peace of mind, time with family, waking up in the mornings without anxiety, those don't fit neatly into a spreadsheet. They're invisible. So we chase the visible and tend to sacrifice the invisible. Our brains are just wired for more. It's a survival instinct repurposed for modern life. Thousands of years ago, wanting more food, more shelter, more safety, more water meant you lived longer. Scarcity was the rule, not the exception. Now abundance is the rule, but I don't think our wiring has really caught up. And when that ancient drive meets modern status culture, it convinces us that comfort is complacency, that if we're not growing, we're failing. So we trade a good day today for the idea of a better one tomorrow. And that can be dangerous. At some point, you have to ask whether the next rung on the ladder is worth the view you're giving up. Because if the pursuit of more starts eroding the life you're chasing it for, well, that just seems like a bad trade. Yet, we convince ourselves, I convince myself all the time that it's a good trade. We take promotions that steal our free time and decrease our day to day joy. We grow successful businesses and then break ourselves to make those businesses even more successful. We call it ambition. Sometimes I think it's addiction disguised as progress. Half kidding, but half not. I mean, you can build the perfect life on paper, but still feel empty living inside of it. You're sacrificing the thing you want for the thing that was supposed to help you get it. And I like to say, just because someone's at the top doesn't mean they're necessarily enjoying the view. So a simple question, how much is enough for you? You get to decide that. What's your version of success? There's a line from Morgan Housel that I think about often. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. He's right. The most successful wealth builders I've worked with don't let the goalpost widen when their capacity widens. They expand their options, not necessarily their needs. Let me take you back for a minute and share a quick story. It's the late 1960s. There's two writers, Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller. They're at a lavish party on Shelter Island. The host is a hedge fund manager, part of the new Wall Street elite. He's a billionaire, right? Very wealthy. And the house looks like something out of a movie, right? Marble floors, glass walls, art that probably costs more than people's homes. And Vonnegut and Heller are guests. Mind you, Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller are very well known in the writing world. They both have written successful books. Vonnegut is known for Slaughterhouse-Five. Joseph Heller is known for Catch-22. So they're standing there, drinks in hand, and they're surrounded by every symbol of success, right? Kurt Vonnegut says, Joe, how does it feel knowing our host made more money yesterday than Catch-22 has made in its entire history? Heller pauses, smiles, and says, yeah, but I have something he'll never have. Vonnegut asks, what's that? And Heller replies, the knowledge that I've got enough. Money has this sneaky way of moving the target. You get the raise, and suddenly the new car doesn't feel extravagant anymore. It feels normal. You upgrade the house, and suddenly the furniture has to match. You fly first class once, and then flying coach feels impossible. Each upgrade resets our baseline. What felt luxurious yesterday becomes our new normal today. It's a subtle form of anchoring. Our reference point keeps shifting upward. But why do we do this? Part of it comes down to something called, or what psychologists call, diminishing sensitivity. The first leap from scarcity to comfort feels massive, but every gain after that hits a little less. It's very similar to addiction or drugs, right? One draw from a cigarette for the first time is going to hit super hard, but then every hit after hits a little less. The jump from $50,000 to $100,000, life changing. The jump from $200,000 to $250,000, barely noticeable, maybe for some. We adapt so quickly that the satisfaction fades before the dust even settles. And beneath all of that psychology is biology. Our brains were never built for stillness. In evolutionary terms, discontent kept you alive. The hunter who was satisfied after one good hunt didn't have food for the winter. The tribe that wanted more land survived the droughts. So that drive for more got rewarded generation after generation. Now, thousands of years later, that same circuitry fires when your neighbor gets a Tesla or your coworker gets a promotion. Our biology mistakes status for safety. And that is the hedonic treadmill, the tendency to normalize what once felt like abundance. Everybody listening to this knows what I'm talking about. We're all guilty of it. You adapt, you recalibrate, you chase again, move the goalposts. And we never measure enough in isolation. We don't compare it to necessarily ourselves or our past. We measure it against what we see, what we can compare. And if you don't recognize that pattern, well, you'll never realize you're on the treadmill running full speed. And I've seen this play out again and again. People with $300,000 who live life with ease, people with $3 million who live life with anxiety. And I'm not here to tell you what enough is or what enough should be. Really, nobody can. That's the beauty of it. You get to declare it for yourself. And of course, this assumes your basic needs are met, right? Food, water, shelter, safety. But once you're past survival, the definition of enough is completely personal. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly know it. Maybe for some, you most likely find it over time by noticing what fills you up and noticing what just fills up space. Sometimes that means sitting in the discomfort of wanting more and asking yourself, why? What am I really chasing? Is it security, status, excitement, validation? Here's a thought experiment. If you could freeze your lifestyle today, same home, same income, same everything, but in exchange, you never had to worry about money again, would you take it? Most people would hesitate. Maybe some would say no. Not because they couldn't live that way, but because the idea of stopping feels like a threat. The worry isn't about survival anymore. It's about identity. Who the hell am I if I'm not striving? And that is the quiet trap of modern wealth. We just spend our lives building a version of success that looks good and never stop to ask if it feels good. And I don't have a perfect bow to tie this all up. And maybe that is the point. I don't know. However, I do keep going back to Joseph Heller's line in that short story. The knowledge that I've got enough. The knowledge. That's the rarest kind of wealth there is.